Here, ladies and gentlemen, it is January the 8th. Although it is not the first Thursday in the month, it is the first Thursday of the year that we have been able to come together as a unit. Haven't seen each other since December on purpose. I hope the end of your 2025 was full of rest, restoration. Put yourself on the charger, recharge, replugged, plugged yourself back in, and really assessed what your 2025 looked like. And had some time to reflect, and then create some goals and some plans, some strategies on how you're going to execute those goals for 2026. I missed you. I know Dan's missed you. Elias has missed you. We're going to start today with celebrating our wins for 2025. We set a big goal in front of ourselves this time last year of 100 transactions or 120 transactions and $100 million in sales volume. And we pushed like hell to get there, ladies and gentlemen. And so I want to congratulate each and every one of you because as Dan is going to present here in a little bit, not only did we meet those numbers, we crushed those numbers. And as a result of that, I'm looking at a screen, 2 pages full of handsome and beautiful faces who are record breakers, record setters. Like, I'll tell you what I mean by that. From what I understand, before I got to Team Fast, and I've been here for 3 years, there was a huge record that was set within Zillow for all-time sales volume and units in 2021. Well, if we go back to the market in 2021, interest rate was 2, 3, maybe 4%. The market was on fire. Folks buying houses left and right, multiple offers, tens of hundreds of thousands of over asking. It was just a hot ass market. Well, to be able to break that record in terms of volume and units sold in a year where we saw interest rates fluctuate from 5 to 8% and still produce at the capacity that you produced at, that we produced at, I just got to salute you before we start. I'm looking at a room full of record setters. And so as we start today, I'm going to pass the mic over to my compadre, Dan. It's good to see you, bro. Happy New Year's to you. Before I do, hold the mic, Dan. I've got to acknowledge Elias in our space. Coach, I don't know where you are right now. I'm sure you're somewhere. Probably got more frequent 5 miles in the last 12 months than you have in the last 12 years. So I have no idea where you are right now, but what I do know is that you're here with us on the first Thursday. As you guys know, Coach Elias is over the entire leads department. Now, you see Dan and I on a more consistent, regular basis.
Awesome.
No, rest assured that Elias is the tip of the spear as it relates to our sales department, our online leads department. So, Coach, it's good to see you, bro. Happy New Year to you. Want to give you an opportunity to give a sentiment to the team before we go into celebrating the fantastic 2025 that we had and then setting a direction for 2026. Coach, what you got?
I'm just going to turn it back to you because, when we think about this company, we don't have a giant hierarchy, and that's always been by design, right? We don't have layers and layers of hierarchy at this company. And so when Dan originally was thinking, man, I need a little bit of support, I need a little bit of help, threw a couple names out there, and we kept on coming back to your name, kept on coming back from your name to your name, because not only did you have experience coaching in baseball, but you had experience coaching and leading and developing teams for many years. And so for us, it was a no-brainer. We just had to teach you how to do it on this side of it, which obviously you already had the skill set. And so I believe that was the missing piece. You see, we've had Zillow for many years. We've gone through different iterations. We had pod leaders, we had squad leaders, we had different names, we had draft days. Like, we've been through all kinds of different iterations and growth of this department. And I feel that you were the missing piece. And so what this program needed is the program needed constant pressure and constant accountability, right? And the number one thing that I told Dan as well as Vernon early on was that we will always protect the asset. And so Vernon has said, you know what, Elias, I'm going to take that. I appreciate that. I accept that challenge. And he's done a very good job of protecting the asset. But protecting the asset means train, coach, develop, and hold each of you guys accountable, right? And some of the times you might not like it, but it's okay. We're not here for a popularity contest. We're here to make sure that you guys have a pathway to make more money for your families. And sometimes that pressure sucks. It does. But at the end of the day, are you getting the pressure because you didn't do the things that you know that you needed to do to be in this program? So it's not us. We're just trying to fulfill the demands of the program. So we're constantly going to be here to push you, to hold you accountable. And so I believe that you, my friend, are exactly what this program needed. And as we grow and develop and take this thing to new heights, I'm excited to see even more voices in this space show up. Vernon and I talked about, certain people that are on this screen, and maybe they're not on this screen, but like, how can you guys play a role? How can you guys lead the conversion clinic? How can we just sit back in the cuts with our popcorn and watch you guys take over a call and share with the rest of the team what's working and what's continuing to drive your own personal production and conversion? And so I got to give all the accolades where the accolades are due. And I have a question for you guys, and I want you guys to sit with this. I asked this to a small group of people on group coaching, but I want you to look at this last part of this conversation, or this paragraph here. And I want you to ask yourself, if you keep doing what you're doing today, whether it's in lead conversion or whether it's just in your business in general, if it's in your health and your relationships, if you keep doing what you're doing today, where will you be in 5 years? Where will you be in 5 years? Are you making $1 million in GCI? Are you making $500,000 in GCI? Are you traveling? Are you doing big things? Shit, are you a millionaire? I don't know what that looks like for you. But if you keep doing what you're doing today, where's your life going to be in 5 years? And if that answer excites you, my friends, congratulations. Great. Keep going. Keep doing the things that you're doing. But if it scares you, then it's time to adjust. So that's my thoughts and that's my sentiment. Vernon, I think you're the best thing to happen in this program, but this energy of you, Dan, and the whole entire department as a whole, and then what you guys are doing as individuals to do your part to protect the asset, it's been incredible to see, and it's been incredible to watch you guys. So I'm more than excited, and I'm more than proud of each and every one of your contributions. So Vernon, appreciate that opportunity to share my thoughts with the group.
Right on, Coach. I'm going to say this, and this has nothing to do with anyone else on this call except for you. I wouldn't be here without your leadership. That's just a fact. And
appreciate you, bro.
That's 100%. And I'm sure Dan has the same sentiment. And I'm going to pass the microphone over to him so that me and you can shut up, because we talk all the time, and then let Dan talk for some time. So my brother, Dan, or Elias, you already know how I feel about you. Love you, man. Dan, you got the microphone, my man. Let's talk to this group of winners this morning.
Let's do it. And Elias, I will echo that sentiment wholeheartedly. Vernon, you are the missing piece. It has been a pleasure having you this last year. So good to have someone so focused on coaching and driving results and helping the team. And I hope everyone in this room here sees and appreciates all the effort that Vernon's put in over this last year, because the numbers reflect it, the team reflects it, the energy, the culture, all of it. So, all right, let's talk about what we did this last year. I know we've hit on a lot of these numbers, so much of this is not going to be a surprise to anyone, but we want to recognize what the team did. We want to recognize what you individuals did. And then I think we'll circle back to what we're looking to in 2026, and then start hitting the ground running with some path forward stuff on that. But let's take a look back and see here where we landed in 2025. All right, let me make this big. Okay, can everyone see Zillow Preferred 2025? We good on that? Got the screen? We're looking at the right stuff? All right, cool. Let's do it. So, deals. What did we do 2025? Big picture. First off, 164 total closed deals is where we landed. My little firework in the corner there for closed deals in 2025. Like Vernon said, at the beginning of last year, we set what was a pretty big goal for hitting 120, because in 2024, we had 76 closed deals. We had 76 closed deals in 2024. We had 164 in 2025. We more than doubled our total closed volume, our total closed units. And like Vernon said, we broke the record from 2021 when our closed deals was just around 130. And that was about the same number of leads. We weren't getting a whole bunch more leads this last year. What we were doing was we were being more intentional with those leads. And for anyone who was doing business back in 21, you knew you could throw a rock and hit someone who wanted to buy a house, right? It was not hard to convince someone that a 2% interest rate was a once in a lifetime opportunity, and tons of people were qualified. So selling homes was easy. So we did more with the same number of leads in a much higher environment. So give yourselves a big round of applause, pat on the back if you were one of the people who participated in this. We were at $119,840,401 in total closed volume. Again, that broke our record from 2021. I believe we were right around 110 million for that year in terms of closed volume for homes. So we had a really wide range of properties. I think our lowest price point home for last year was just under 50,000, and I think this might have been on the seller program, but I believe we had a $4 million closing. That might have been Jen and Kenny's seller listing, but we had some big numbers. We had the most $1 million closings of any year from Zillow. Our average price point was in excess of $850,000 for the homes that we had closed. So just huge numbers in terms of volume. That number, lifetime for the program. When Elias talks about protecting the asset, this is the opportunity that the Zillow Preferred program, now Zillow Preferred rebranded, has presented for the team since, Elias, I think it was 2020 when we got the Zillow Preferred program. Just shy of 400 million in total volume from Zillow in the last 5 years. Just shy of 500 units closed from Zillow in the last 5 years. 484 families, individuals, investors, people that we helped get into homeownership since this program started. So this is a tremendous opportunity. It's been producing more. It's been changing all of our lives. Everyone here who's in the room has been able to participate. And this is the number that to me is most exciting on here. And that is 68 people from Team Fast closed a deal with Zillow Flex this last year, Zillow Preferred. 68 people from the team closed a deal from these programs. Most of you in this meeting closed a deal with Zillow Preferred. Why I think this number is so powerful, so impactful, is that, yeah, we had some top producers, we had some heavy hitters, some people who did a lot of business, that this was a big part of their production for this year, but we had a very wide range of participation. This shows that anyone who gets in and engages with the system and starts working the leads can close these deals. We had a ton of people who came in, who raised their hand, who said, yes, I want to participate, I want to take part in this, and got business and closed deals for themselves, for their families, and made production happen. So anyone who hasn't closed a deal yet, it can be done. If you're struggling, if you're trying to figure out how do I go from 1 to 2, from 2 to 4, from 4 to 8 in 2026, you've got 3 great resources and the rest of your team sitting here on the camera. So reach out because it is doable. Okay, so let's look at some individual stats. And what I want to start off with is looking at some of our all-stars with the Zillow Home Loans program. This was a big change that we rolled out this year, that Zillow rolled out to us, that it is just going to be the cost of admission in participating in the Zillow Leads program moving forward in the future, and that is partnering with them on Zillow Home Loans. And I want to thank everyone for all of your cooperation, for all of your patience, for all of your engagement in working with this, which has been a learning process and something new for all of us in figuring out how to effectively incorporate this home loans piece into our buyer flow with Zillow. So first off, looking at the agents who had the most loan officer connections. And this is really like in the last 3 or 4 months that I think we've seen this ramp up. But number one, no surprise, Glenn Riggs, 9 of his customers connected with Zillow Home Loans officer. Number 2, V coming in hot right behind Glenn with 8 people connected. Kelly tied with V, also coming in hot with 8 people connected. Ina, whoa, boy, this is a 3-way tie. Okay, so this should be 1, 2, 2, 2, not 2, 3, 4. Demian, man, I forgot how much of a close race this was. A 4-way tie, V, Kelly, Ina, and Demian, all with 8 of their customers that they connected to ZHL officers. And again, the majority of this happened just in the last couple of months. And Aaron, 6 people coming in, we'll call it third place there because it was a 3-way tie, 4-way tie for second place, getting connected with those loan officers. The second number, what we look at, the stat that we are held accountable to from Zillow loan approvals, how many people actually get that credit inquiry, get the approval sent out. or I guess not a credit inquiry. ZHL does not have to do a hard inquiry for it, but how many people actually got loan approvals? V in first place with 5 ZHL loan approvals. And I want to shout out too, I know we've been talking about the numbers that we have to hit. January, right now, for the first time ever, we are exceeding our goal for ZHL approvals. So we are actually above where we need to be. The last 4 months, we've been way below where we needed to be. So thank you all for really engaging in this. V, you've been a big contributor here to these ZHL approvals. Aaron, a two-way tie for first. 5 people approved. Glenn, 4 people approved. We're seeing these same names here. Demian, 4 people approved. Ana, 3 approved. So thank you to everyone who's engaging, who's working with it, who's working with this system. Again, this is just the way of doing business now moving forward, is engagement with this. Zillow has made it very clear that this is mission critical for them in their business, engaging with this program. Again, our clients don't have to use ZHL. There's never a requirement that they have to close with them, but we have to give them the opportunity to participate in the conversation. And thank you for engaging with this. All right, let's look at top closers in terms of volume. I think we had some we had some ties on units here, but coming in at number 1, we had a first for production. The first person to break the 8-figure mark in Zillow production, and that is Sierra with $10,620,000 in total closed volume. That includes individual and partner deals for 2025. Sierra, you were the first person from the Zillow Preferred program to break $10 million in total closed volume. Is Sierra on the call right now? Actually, I don't know if I saw her on there. She's probably out closing deals. If not,
She's not.
she's not on here. All right, we'll have to get her to take the mic and tell us some secrets. But I think the secret is persistence, follow up, and always being there, raising your hand, taking on leads, because I've just seen her contributing in such a huge way. Number 2, David Bondalon, 6.6 million in closed volume. And I think David also had some big numbers in terms of some deals closed. Big congratulations to David. Aaron, second, 5.598 million closed volume. Kuhn, 5.2 million. Drea, 5.2 million. Just sneaking under Kuhn. We actually, I think we had another 5 or 8 people who closed over 5 million in volume with Zillow this last year. So we could have kept this list going. These were the top 5, but we had a bunch of people closing over 5 million. You do the math on what the GCI on that is and what the take home pay, and think about how many people who engaged in this program really made a big dent in their goals for this year. All right, let's look at units. Again, number 1, I don't think this will be a surprise, but Sierra, 15, including individual and partner deals, 15 closed deals in 2025 through the Zillow program. Just a huge number. Aaron, 10 deals closed. Big congratulations there. V with 9 deals closed. Jessica with 8 deals closed. And Lisette tied with 8. And I think that is it. So we had, again, a bunch of people who closed a ton of deals with Zillow, who brought in a lot of money for themselves, but also a wide range, a lot of participation across the board. That is all I got for our stats 2025 in review. I'm also looking forward. I think since we beat our goals, we got a big party coming up that we got to organize, right, Elias? We hit our 150, broke the 150 mark.
Let's put him on the spot. Right.
I think we're renting a cruise ship in Mexico and buying the whole thing out. I don't know if we set a budget for this
what's
thing.
What's going on, Coach? All of a sudden, your reception got bad over there.
Oh man. All right, but congratulations, everyone.
Well,
I've got an offer out. Just saying, we should be.
There we go.
Contract.
There we go. All right, Heather.
Let's go, Heather. Kicking that year off with momentum. You're very welcome. The best of luck to you. If there's anything that we can do to come alongside you, don't hesitate to let us know. But congratulations.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yes,
Thank you.
So I noticed that Coach didn't take himself off of mute. And if you guys notice, he went from his video to the profile picture and then back to the video. I wish I would have caught him so I could say, can we act like we want to be here, sir, with our camera and with our face in the camera? But he clicked back on too fast. I'm sure he'll work something out for us. Whether he does or he doesn't, which he will, congratulations, you guys. Like, give yourself a pat on the back. Like, we're just going to pause for a second and celebrate the win, because that's tremendous. output. Jessica, congratulations. V, crushing shit. If your name wasn't on the board for 2025, what are you prepared to do about it to ensure that your name will be on that damn board in 2026?
And
Yes, sir.
oh, sorry, Ryan. I mean to interrupt
Go
your
ahead,
flow,
bro.
but I'd love to open the floor up to a couple of the people whose names were on there. If anyone's got any words of wisdom, like Aaron, V, Jessica, I see on here. I'm sure there's a couple other people who are on. But
Drea.
if you're faced on there, like, what did you do in 2025 that got you the results? Because we saw some really big numbers. Does anyone want to take themselves off mute and share what they did this last year to produce those results?
Sure they do. We'll go Drea first, and then
There you go.
We'll go V on deck.
Hey guys, I mean, but just also following up with the leads that have been in the pipeline, and they just some started in the beginning, met some in the beginning of the year, and then finished at the very end of the year with some of them. So great to be on the board, and also yeah, I'm actually pending at 2.5. The beginning of this year, I'm in 2 deals right now, closing next week with Zillow leads. So excited about that. Just work hard on those leads, man. They pay off.
Congratulations. Go ahead, V. You're on deck. Where's V? Did she have a
No,
technical?
can you hear
Oh,
me?
there she is. We can.
Okay, I think for me, and I feel like everyone is doing this already anyway, is just building the real trust early, being transparent, communicating clearly, listening more than we speak, and also I would say educating them without overwhelming them. I think it's huge. And what I did differently this time around was when I got my leads, being okay with pausing myself until I close the current active clients that I had through Zillow. So I think that's one big thing that I did differently this time around.
Yeah. Let me change this view really quick. V, thank you for sharing that. Drea, thank you for sharing that. Hey, congratulations to the both of you guys. One thing that I heard from both of them was they implemented emotional intelligence in sales. They were listening more than they spoke, not overwhelming them with education. If you tell me what that means, when you say you're not overwhelming someone with or bombarding them with too much education and information, like, give us some clarity about that thought, that process. What does that look like?
I mean, for me, just speaking to them like a human being, getting to know them, not just talking about real estate, but just making it fun also. Just not asking these professional questions.
That's powerful. Anyone else want to take themselves off of mute whose name was on that board or who experienced tremendous success as a result of being a part of the preferred program? Feel free. Just take yourself off of mute, share your contribution. What worked for you? What is your sentiment going into 2026? Anyone? Aaron, I see you took yourself off of mute, brother. What's your contribution?
I would just say that I relate a lot to what both V and Mama San said. Like, I try to approach it like that, but I think being in this space, I just felt like I was just keeping pace. So I knew I did all right, but I see Sierra, I see Mama San out there. I'm on the Tuesday calls. I see people hitting, and then I'm on these calls, and I get so much information from what Glenn's doing, what everybody's doing, that for me, it just seemed like coming on to these calls, answering the phone, and just keeping pace. There was some stuff that Glenn said, or you hear V say something, and then immediately you just try to apply it to the next call that comes through. And so keeping pace is a powerful thing. Just trying to stay consistent, trying to be, in alignment with your colleagues and what they're doing. I think takes people a long way. So coming on these spaces, being on Elias's call, being on those Tuesday calls, gives you the view that it can be done. Like, people are talking in the background, this is the worst year ever and everything like that, right? But if you come on these calls, you don't get that feeling, right? And so if you keep yourself on stuff like this, then you realize, one, it can be done, and two, like, what do I got to do to keep pace? And everybody readily shares it and tells it to you in these spaces. So I mean, there's a ton of different ways we can approach doing the leads, but the motivation and what kind of kept me going was just watching that it's being done and wanting some of that for myself.
Powerful. Hey man, thank you for that sentiment. For I remember bringing Aaron into the Flex program, or it was Flex back then, the preferred program, and his ambition. And if you're new to this space, I just want to highlight a few things that he suggested. Get into the rooms, connect to the ecosystem. If you're not in Keep It Moving on Monday, Wednesdays, and or Fridays, Coach gives you 3 options. Plug in. If you want to be in the space of converting at a high level, plug into these spaces, because the ultimate goal, from my perspective, from Elias's perspective, from Dan's perspective, is that we win. Right? And so the ground is fertile here. You know, Aaron said something that the sentiment outside of these rooms is, it's a terrible market and what's going on? It's never a terrible market for us. Ever. Not for those in this micro space, and not for those who are part of Team Fast. We always win. And so winners find a way to win. And that's what we do. That's what's happening in this environment, this Team Fast environment. Jessica, I'm so proud of you. Take yourself off of mute and give us a contribution.
Hi, Vernon.
Hello.
Did I just freeze?
You did, but your voice is still good.
Okay, good. No, I was just going to say that what worked for me is just making myself available. So if someone wants to see a home at 6 p.m., I know I'm tired. I know I had a long day, but I just make myself available. Like, okay, you want to see it today at 6? Okay, let's go. Or just partnering up a lot with other agents. That has worked for me, because instead of closing nothing, I would rather close something and make at least, something. And let me see. I think those are like the 2 main things that have worked for me, is just partnering up a lot and just making myself available.
I love it. And just to watch your growth, Jessica, I've been a cheerleader with pom-poms. I won't say that I won't say that in public. Although this call is recorded, and I'm sure people are going to hear it later on, but I'm rooting for you. And you know that. We talk all the time. I'm rooting for you, girl. Super proud of you. I know Elias is proud of you. I'm sure Dan is proud of you. All of our leaders, we're proud of you. You keep doing what you've been doing, because it's working for you. Thank you for that contribution. Anyone else before we go into the next phase of today's session? Cool. Seeing none, I want to read a few sentences out of this book. I'm sure most of you've read it. I read a book a month, and this was the book that I read in December. It's Winning by Tim Grover. Everybody read this book? Everybody heard of the book? If you haven't read Winning, please get the book. It's dope. There are a few excerpts that really are applicable to this group, this space, on the first Thursday of 2026. That's set in the tenor for and a mindset for this year. And just bear with me, it'll take about 3 minutes. It says, winning only gives you another win if you fight for it with greater obsession than you fought for it the first time. Your business can have its best month ever. We just had our best year ever as a team. And on the first of the next month, we're back to zero. The first of this year, 2026, we no longer have 164 closed transactions this year. We no longer have 119 million. We're at zero. The trek starts over. We're doing it all over again, this time with a higher expectation. Winning waits to see what you'll do. Doesn't care about being fair, doesn't care about your talent or your skill or how hard you work. It wants to see if you can figure it out and fight for it. Why? Because winning sets unreasonable goals. Hear me. And requires you to bear the burden of responsibility for achieving them. That means doing anything and everything possible to get out of the situation that you're in and into a position to win. Winning sets unreasonable goals. And in that context, here are our goals for 2026. Last year it was 100 million in sales volume and 120 closed transactions. This year, ladies and gentlemen, it's 150 million in sales volume and 200 closed transactions. Let's do the math real quick. Simple math. 200 divided by 12. 16.6. I already done the math. That's 17 closed transactions a month. That's our goal. I'm going to let that settle, because I had some of these same looks last year when I put the 100 million on the screen and we blew it out the water. We're going to blow this out the water as well. Set your mind to it and get into a position to win. What we did last year, we celebrated it. Year in review, we'll drink, we'll eat, we'll have a party and all of that. But as of today, right now, ladies and gentlemen, we're back at square one. What are you going to do to put yourself in position to win? Okay. On to the next. I want to call on a few people who had tremendous ZHL impact and results. Whether we like it or not, ZHL is what it is. Congratulations on making more connections and cultivating those connections that are resulting in approvals. I left one performance metric out. Dan, why didn't you call me out on it? 150 million sales volume, 200 units sold, 10% ZHL approval rate across the board. We're capable of that. That's the unreasonable goal. Now, we've got agents on the call who are well on their way to hitting that 10% ZHL approval, not transfer, approval rate. A couple of them are on the call. Kelly, Aaron, V, and I don't see Ina. But what I want to do for a little bit of time today is I'd like to have those who have got those higher ZHL transfer numbers take themselves off of mute and just share briefly. Now, we'll go into it later. As Elias has spoke to, some of you guys are going to be facilitating some components of the conversion clinic moving forward to develop you as leaders. And because you have a contribution, you're actually in the field producing. So Aaron, VZ, Kelly, feel free to take yourself off of mute. Share with the team what your secret formula is or your magic sauce as to how you're able to not only make the transfer, but I want to hear about your cultivation strategy of the connection. What does that communication vibration look like to get to the result of such a high approval amount? Who wants to go first? Because everybody's going. There you go.
I guess I just talk to them. I guess I get into the conversation about how the pre-approval is important because it kind of gives them a full idea of what they're looking for. And so oftentimes you'll meet them and they kind of are, I don't know what my payment is. I don't know where it is if they haven't talked to a lender. And so it makes it easy to say they'll give you full clarity and they're quick. And then I always bring up the appraisal. But I guess with my lending background, I just had, I tried to, like V was saying, give them the education of the importance of a pre-approval and let them know that they have options. But this Zillow one is the path of least resistance right now, as far as getting a preliminary idea of where you stand, how much payments are going to be, what the rates are, all the process in general. And then I also point out that they get a free appraisal. So like we have a client right now that chose to go with the bank. The deal fell out and they're like complaining about being out their $700 for their appraisal that they paid, which is part of the risk you run when you go outside of that. So I use case studies like that to explain why it's beneficial to get started with ZHL. And if you choose to go with them, you won't have to pay for your appraisal up front. So that usually gets people to follow the path. And then I also let them know, you know, it's not like you have to go with them though. Like find out what they're offering. It gives you a baseline of what's out there. It shows you what your payment's going to be. It gives you worst case scenarios, if nothing else. And then if they need, I can tell them a broker, I can tell them a bank, I can tell them a mortgage banker. There's a million other lenders out there you can go to. And then also any documentation that you've gathered to get your pre-approval with them, you just pass that on to the NIC. So it's already there, ready to go. And so I just really simply try to frame it as, a starting point, something to get you clarity as far as how much is this going to cost you in the long run.
I love that, Aaron. So using it as a starting point, and then mentioning the benefits that are included when connecting with ZHL is phenomenal. I just want to make sure that we do a quick inventory check. Is everyone versed on the benefits of a lead working with ZHL? Or is everyone versed on those benefits? So if I just did a quick little quiz and said, what are the 4 benefits of a lead working with ZHL? Is everyone comfortable with being able to convey that? If you're not, say it so that we can make sure that everyone has that information. Heather, I saw your hand raised up. D. Bledsoe, I got you, but just stay right there, bro. Heather, are you trying to take yourself off of mute? No, you're not? Okay, you're not. That's not. Okay, moving right along.
How about
Jessica,
refresh? What's the 4, guys?
Sorry, I was trying to take myself off mute. I know that there's the pre-appraisal, that they can do a soft credit pull and quick turnaround, and then I'm missing one. What are the 4?
So it's free appraisal. It's super fast close of escrow. It's soft credit pull. And it's keeping them in the Zillow ecosystem as they came to us from Zillow, right? So it creates a more fluid, seamless experience because we're keeping it all under that Zillow umbrella. That was the 4th. Ultimately for the best. There you go. Do you see what Coach just put in the chat? Succinctly put, there it is there. Make sure that we're versed in that. Yes, it is an entry point in the conversation, but there's value in what buyer does not want a value. Free appraisal, let's put that out there, right? So thank you for that, Aaron. Just want to make sure, be versed in the 4 benefits of a buyer connecting with a loan officer with Zillow. D. Bledsoe, what you got, bro? Thank you for your patience. Happy 2026, King. What's your contribution?
All good. On our last call of the year, I believe it was, we were talking about just keeping it simple. And hey, if you're not pre-approved, that's essential in this process. I'm going to get you connected with Marcos. Marcos is my loan officer at ZHL. And that's been working for me. People say they're not approved. And I'm like, well, we need that in order for me to do my job and know what to send you and what to show you. So I'm connecting you to Marcos. And then from there, once we get our numbers back, then we can continue on in the process. And that's been working for me. Like it's great to know the benefits and everything, but a lot of these first-time home buyers, they don't know the difference between having to pay for an appraisal or not having to pay for it. They don't know the difference between these different lenders. So being that we do have a metric to reach with ZHL, I'm just keeping it simple and just telling them I'm connecting them with my preferred lender, which is Marcos. I'm not saying ZHL. I'm not overcomplicating it like V had stated in her process, and that's just been working. Like, yes, I have relationships with other lenders that I may be more comfortable with, but at the same time, in trying to achieve this metric, hey, you came through Zillow, so I'm connecting you to Marcos, and nobody has pushed back on that so far. So yeah, that's been working for me.
What you got, Dan?
Yeah, I heard a couple of things with Demian and also with what Aaron was saying too, and that is like talking about simplicity, what's easy, the path of least resistance, guiding them to the next natural step. And like, that is just such an important part of how this conversation flows best, is like, this is just the easiest next step. And this is also the step we need to do. And like, that's what I'm hearing from the both of you saying very much. It sounds like it's working really well. And the other thing to me, and what you just said is what we've been trying to get to, and what Allie from ZHL has been talking about for a long time. I really appreciate it. And that is my lender, Marcos, and not, we're just get you connected with ZHL. Like, who knows what that is? That's No one knows name brand lenders. Like, that's just not a thing. And you got a person at ZHL, and it's just, I'm going to connect you with Marcos. They're my lender. Perfect. If you don't have that yet, and this is for everyone else on the call, if you don't have your Marcos, like we talked about before the break, pick up the phone, make 2 or 3 phone calls, see who you vibe with, see who you connect with, talk about what their process is, what their turnaround, what your expectations are, and get yourself a first name basis lender or 2 from Zillow that you can refer to someone, so that this is Marcos, the person I work with, or this is Ben, or whoever it is. And that will just make that transition so much easier, because it's a person and then not a big brand.
Well,
And honestly,
oh, go
my
ahead,
bad.
David.
No, just one more takeaway. But honestly, it's really convenient that it's all streamlined and everything is inside of the Zillow CRM, that we can see where they are with the loan process, have they responded to the lender or not. Whereas with our own leads and everything, you kind of got to manually keep up with that on, hey, I referred this person to this lender, and you got to reach out to the lender, see where they are, or wait on them to get back to you to see if they talk to the client. Everything is right there. So, I mean, it makes it a lot easier in some ways just to go ahead and pass them off to the ZHL lender.
I'm gonna thank you for that. Ease of fluidity in the transaction, integration in the transaction, as Elias had put in the chat, is a simple way to describe the benefit of it. I'm going to go expound on what Dan has suggested. DB says he's got a Marcos. Dan suggested if you don't have a Marcos, my question is, if you don't have a Marcos, why the hell not? Because at the conclusion of Q4, the action item preparing for 2026 was clear and specific. That was interview 3 ZHL loan officers, have a conversation with them, reach out to them with the intention of setting up, establishing a relationship, understanding each other's workflow. Ideally, from that 2, 3, 4 conversations that you have with the different loan officers, you will create some type of synergy and chemistry with at least one of them, to where now you can say, I got a Marcos. How many of you have done that? Glenn, raise your hand. I literally would like to see your hand. If you have actually delivered on the action item at the end of Q4 to connect with the Zillow loan officer, a group of them, to have conversations with them to establish some type of chemistry and relationship, put the hand raise emoji on the screen, please. And if you have it, keep it solid with yourself. But don't try to piggyback off of DB's work and ask him to get Marcos's number. I'm not calling anybody out. I want you to do the work yourself. That's the intention. I'll wait. It's 11:48. We have 12 minutes. We're not just sliding by this. And so for those of you who have your hand raised, my question to you would be, put your loan officer's name in the chat. Go ahead. And if you don't have a loan officer that you've connected with, everybody messing with Ben. So Ben just had hella discovery calls over the Christmas holidays. If you haven't had the opportunity to reach out to Zillow's loan officers, do that. It's going to help you with your transfer. It's going to help you with the cultivation of the connection. It's going to help you as it relates to your buyer getting approved in a more expedited fashion by you building the relationship. And then it comes across as if you're relational with the loan officer, as DB has suggested. I'm just going to connect you to Marcos. That's your tasks for the next week for those who did not raise their hand. I understand you have a preferred lender. Let's find you a preferred lender that works with Zillow. Everybody on the same page there? Cool. Because I'm going to ask you about that the next time we're in this space. And I'm going to ask you to put that information in the chat. And then as we're doing this one-to-one performance management, this pipeline review, what's going to happen is we're going to pull up your follow-up boss, and then I'm going to have you show me the connections that you've made to ZHL through follow-up boss. And then what does that cultivation cadence look like? You're going to show me your work. Elias calls it, show me your receipts, your book of business. That's what I want to see. Okay? Dan, did I miss anything? Did I get sidetracked? Where are you? I'm good. Coach, you have any closing sentiments? Can we connect with other ZHL lenders who are not on that list? What's the answer to that, Dan? I would say yes.
Yes is the answer, but I would start with that list because Allie Malcolm, our manager, manages those agents. So if you need responses from them, if you need like metrics, if you need anything, we can always go to Allie. Everyone else, there's no real oversight. Those people that are at that, if you go in transfer to follow up boss, the people who are our Zillow loan officers, those are the people who work directly under Allie and are specifically assigned to our team. So like they've got a little bit more skin in the game to make sure that we have a really good relationship because they are assigned to us. You can work with any ZHL loan officer, but I'd recommend, there's 8 or 10 names on our list. So start with there.
Cool. So we'll start with the list of 5, our 5 ZHL officers. V, did you have your hand raised up for a contribution? Or was that saying that you had done your discovery call with a loan officer and you've established a relationship with a ZHL?
Let me put that back down. That was a discovery.
Cool. Appreciate it. Love it. I want you to pay attention to something. The people who have their names at the top of the list for approvals and transfers are the people that have relationships with the ZHL loan officers. That's not by accident. They did. That's their result. That's a result of them being their intentional action. It's not enough for 15 folks to have their hand raised and have a relationship with a loan officer. How many people do we have on this call? 35, including me, Elias, and Dan, which don't make transfers to ZHL. So it's 32 people. I want to see 32 hands raised if they have an established relationship with a Zillow loan officer by our next conversion clinic. That's what it is, because this is a performance metric that we're going to hold you accountable to. Some of you all had already ended 2025 on pause because of those ZHL transfer numbers, that column. Dan is now added a column. Elias, you'll be glad to hear this, Coach. We added the approval column, not those who are making transfers, who are actually getting approvals. You could thank Coach Elias for getting even more micro on your performance around that one, because that was his idea. And I actually love it. So let's not let ZHL be a reason that your production gets paused. Coach, what you got on the closing sentiments before I close it out? What you got, Coach? Got about 5 minutes. I always want to give you some mic time, my dude.
No, you close it out, man. I'm here for this. Everything has been fire. I just, at the end of the day, you guys, we have requirements from Zillow. We're obviously going to apply that pressure to the team, but we're going to do our very best to coach, train, support you guys on the verbiage, on the communication, on the follow-up. And so we're always going to do our part for you guys. All we want you to do is do your part. Listen, I know you have relationships with other lenders. Continue to have those relationships with those lenders. It's not 100% of the people that need to get a pre-approval from ZHL. It's only a small fraction. So just do your part, you guys. So continue showing up, continue applying. I'm looking forward to hearing the voices and sharing your guys' blueprints and master classes and all the things that Dan and Vernon are going to be sharing in the future. But yeah, incredible session, my man. You guys go ahead and close this out. I just want to say congratulations to everybody. Well done. And let's crush it this year. Let's crush it this year.
Thanks, E. Appreciate you, bro. Dan, what you got, compadre?
I'm excited for 2026. If this is what we can do in what is unarguably a hard year for real estate, 2025, I can't even imagine what you all are going to do in 2026, which all the signs are saying that we're going to have tailwinds at our back for the first time in a long time in real estate space. So now's the time. We've been doing the hard work. You've been training, right? Steel sharpens steel. You got the skills. We got the people in the room. We got the opportunity in front of us. And now that we finally got some momentum that's likely going to be at our backs, just take it and run with it, right? Make hay while the sun is shining, and it looks like the sun's going to start shining this year. So
let's go.
Can't wait to see what y'all do.
I'm super excited. Here's my closing sentiment. It's 2 sentences out of this book. There are wins everywhere. There's more deals to close. There's wins in your relationship. There's wins in your interactions. There's wins in your ZHL transfers. It's a win when you wake up. It's a win when your phone rings with a lead. It's a win when you set an appointment, when you run the proper cadence and you go and meet the appointment, and that transfers over to showing homes and writing offers and closed transactions. It's a win when that GCI adds food into your cupboards for your family. They're everywhere. It's on you to keep finding them. 2026, the operative word is results. Period. If you're not producing results, there will be no space for you in this space. So let's win. Yo, let's get to it. I'm fired up. You fired up. Winning is a mindset. And I'm looking at a bunch of winners in this space. Let's go show them better than we could tell them. Peace out, y'all. Love you guys. See you not next Thursday, but the following Thursday. Win this month. 16 transactions. We already 3 or 4 deep. Let's get to work. Peace.